Right now, as you watch this video, your phone contains silver. The light switch behind you also contains silver. And the solar panel on your neighbor's roof also contains silver. And if you are driving an EV, that also contains silver. Most people see silver as a metal of jewelry or maybe an investment. But in today's conversation, the CEO of Silver Institute told me something that completely changed how we view silver as a metal. We are in the 6th consecutive year of silver structural supply deficit. Demand across different industries, solar, semiconductor, artificial intelligence, are at the record high. And there are zero new significant silver mines that are coming into the market anywhere in the world. So in today's episode of UpperCrust, we sat down with the president and the CEO of the Silver Institute, Michael DiRienzo, who has a front row seat to the entire global silver market. If anyone understands the true state of global silver market right now, it is him. In today's episode, we are going to answer some of the biggest questions people have about silver in their mind right now. So let's get into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another episode of UpperCrust, where we try to understand what's really shaping the world around us. Today most people think of metals in very simple terms. Gold is wealth, copper is industrial, oil is energy. But there is one metal that doesn't fit neatly into any one box. It powers solar panels, it sits inside every smartphone. It is the backbone of AI. It has been used as money for the thousands of years. And yet, despite of all this, it's often overlooked. That metal is silver. Today's conversation is not about price, it's about understanding something much deeper. Why silver may be one of the most misunderstood assets in the global economy today. I'm really excited to join by someone who has a front row seat to this entire story, Michael DiRienzo, President and the CEO of the Silver Institute. Michael, sir, welcome. It's an absolute honor to host you today.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
So, Michael, sir, before we get into the silver, I want to start with your journey. You have spent years at the center of this ecosystem, talking to miners, policymakers, industrial players. What originally drew you into the world of silver, and at what point did you realize this metal is far more important than it appears?
Well, when I started working here some time ago, we also represented what was then known as the Gold Institute. So we had the Gold Institute, the Silver Institute, and another association surrounding zinc. And it was always silver that sort of attracted me because of the duality, it being both a precious and an industrial metal. You'll find that among precious metal investors and enthusiasts, they're extremely passionate about silver. You can find that online today. The people who invest in silver are very, very passionate about the metal. And it's because it has so many applications. As you mentioned, it's been a form of money for thousands of years. Before the gold standard in the United States, there was a silver standard. So it's just an intriguing metal, and the future is so bright for silver.
So, sir, you represent the Silver Institute. So, for someone who is hearing about the Silver Institute for the first time, what exactly does Silver Institute do, and how does it sit at the center of this entire global ecosystem? If you could please explain this to our audience.
Well, I didn't understand the second part of your question, but the first part I got. So, what is the Silver Institute? So, it's an industry association. And what it is comprised of membership. Our members are the leading silver miners, the leading refiners, uh, those that sell silver into the open market. They're buying and selling. Some of the sponsors of our survey are the banks that sell silver and other investment entities that sell and buy silver. So we really do have a cross section of the industry as our membership. And what we do is we talk about everything that's associated with silver. So we put out programs that hopefully at the end of the day will lead to greater demand for silver. For example, we have market development programs in India and China, in Singapore and Mexico and Peru. We put out our World Silver Survey, which is considered by many to be the most authoritative publication on the global silver market. We'll be putting that out just in a month, April 15th in New York City. The next day or 2 days later in Mexico. And then later the following week in India at the India Silver Conference. We also do market trend reports on various topics that are germane to silver. Those are shorter reports, 8 to 10 pages, that surround various topics. So we're doing one this year on bullion flows of silver because we were faced last year with some bottlenecks at certain times of the year. We're putting one on out another market trend report on the gold silver ratio. So we put out these reports. We put them all online, and there is no cost for these reports. Anybody can download them. We try to educate as many people as possible about the amazing things about silver. And we speak at a ton of conferences. I mean, just this year alone, we spoke at the PDAC in Canada. We'll be going down to Mexico, as I mentioned. I'll be speaking at the World Jewelry Federation's 100th anniversary in Italy. We're going to the Singapore and the Asia Pacific Precious Metals Conference, the LBMA Metals Conference. And we do a lot of webinars that we host and that we participate in, and podcasts such as yours. So we have a very small budget when you compare it to other entities like the World Gold Council, for example. We have one office. It's headquartered here in Washington, D.C., but we do a lot with what we have.
That's something amazing with Silver Institute is doing right now, educating more and more about this very precious as well as very important asset to the industry. So I really appreciate all the initiatives. Even I, read the Silver Institute survey report every year, and it brings much insights to all of us. So, sir, one slightly different but very interesting question which I wanted to ask. If we were having this conversation, say 10 years from now, basically 2036, do you think that world has completely misread the importance of silver in this decade?
It took over 45 years for silver to go from whatever to $50 to cross the $50 an ounce Rubicon. It took a little over 3 months for it to get to $100. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you where the silver price will be 10 years down the road, but I can tell you this. As technology evolves, more silver will be used in almost every product that has an on and off switch, like it is today. So I don't know where we'll be 10 years from now, but I can tell you this. 20, 25 years ago, the number one use for silver in industry was in photography. And that got winnowed out. And then photovoltaics came along, and they're not going anywhere. That's the number one use for silver today is photovoltaics. 10 years from now, you can see, we're witnessing now AI and data centers and the energy requirements for those processing centers and data centers. And that is going to require more and more silver. So 10 years is a long ways away. I can speak to today. On the industrial side, we're doing really well. Almost 60% of silver demand is targeted toward industrial uses. So that number may even grow as we go 5 years and 10 years down the line. But silver will play an important part in the global ecosystem with respect to industry and investment.
Completely agree, sir, on whatever you said. Given all these cases, do you think we are moving towards a world where silver becomes a critical metal? Recently, even United States has included silver into their critical metal list, similar to how we see oil and semiconductors. Do you think silver will also be a critical metal in the few years down the line?
Yeah, I do. I mean, last year, as you pointed out, the United States formally recognized silver as a critical mineral. We think Canada is going to follow suit at some point this year or early next, and put silver on its critical mineral list because they recognize the strategic importance of this metal, not only in industry, but also in defense, And its importance to making sure that the manufacturing process continues. So those are some of the reasons why the United States went forward and put silver on its list. We, as I mentioned, I think Canada will follow suit. There are similar efforts in Europe, ongoing as well. So, oh, absolutely, it is a critical mineral. There's no question about it.
But sir, despite being so deeply connected to all these trends, why silver has remained so misunderstood for so long? So recently, even I have shared that I have been writing a book on silver called Metal That Matters. One
Mhm.
idea that really stood while writing was silver doesn't belong to one world. It is a part industrial, it is a part monetary.
Mhm.
Do you think this dual identity is exactly what makes silver difficult to understand?
Well, it could. I mean, look at there's a lot of people who do understand silver. Okay, quite frankly, gold has taken most of the attention throughout the history of time. Uh, there's less gold than there is silver in the world. Um, I've read things that if you took all the gold that has ever been mined in the world, it would fill up 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools, or it would go up two-thirds the size of the Washington Monument. So gold has been, you know, taking the forefront with respect to attention. I think more and more people are starting to pay attention to silver, not only in industry, but also as an investment.
So, Michael sir, recently I was going through the latest World Silver Survey report. One thing that really stood out to me was we are seeing industrial demand alone at around 680 to 700 million ounces, which is
Mhm.
a record. And even with some softness in the investment demand, the overall market is still running into another year of structural deficit,
Right.
close to 150 million ounces, I think. If this were any other commodity, let's say oil or even something like in copper, we were looking where we are looking at the multiple consecutive years of deficit. This would probably be the front page news everywhere. But with silver, it feels like a relatively quiet story. Why this is happening? If you could
Well,
please share.
the deficit pertains to annual mine supply and annual silver demand. Okay.
Right.
There are ample, but yet they're dwindling silver stocks that are above ground, that are drawn down to meet the investment or the industrial needs of various consumers or countries. So we do have silver. It is above ground. We have stocks of silver in the COMEX. We have stocks of silver at the LBMA. We have stocks of silver in China. And that silver is what's used for the needs of industrialists and investors as the years go on. But if you look at it, we're in our 6th year of a structural market deficit. And if you add up all the millions of ounces over those 6 years, you basically equal 1 year of mine supply. So we are projecting another deficit, smaller at about 95 to 100 million ounces for 2026. But nonetheless, it is a deficit, and the market continues to operate as such. But you're right, also, again, if it were oil or another commodity, it would be different. The fact of the matter is there are no significant new silver mining projects coming to the market. There are no new major discoveries of silver mines throughout the world. So we could be in this situation for quite some time.
And also, this report has highlighted how photovoltaic sector, basically the solar panels, has become one of the dominant forces in the silver demand. Uh, what's driving that growth? And more importantly, is it sustainable?
Yeah, so what you're seeing is you're seeing a yearning, a drive across the world to form a less reliance on fossil fuel energy. So alternative energy sources are coming to the fray. Solar panel globally is the number one source of alternative energy. And solar panels require silver.
Right.
They put silver paste on the back, in some cases on the back and front of the panel. And China is leading the way in this with respect to installations. and manufacturing of solar panels. Europe is leading the way. The United States places a high premium on solar energy. Maybe not so much during this administration with President Trump, but nonetheless, people are buying, solar panels, electric vehicles. The electrification of everything is being done for many reasons, but mostly it's being done for green uses. So the green technologies are coming to the forefront. That includes solar, nuclear, and wind power. And by the way, nuclear power requires silver as well. Okay, there is silver in the nuclear rods, and more countries are beginning to debate whether or not nuclear energy is the way to go, in addition to solar energy.
Interesting, sir. But if we talk only about the solar manufacturing sector, there are talks about finding a substitute for a silver,
Mhm.
basically a cheaper alternative to the silver. Do you think is this possible? If yes, what would that actually mean to the demand of the silver?
Well, look at if they want longevity, if they want reliability, if they want stability of some of these solar farms, they're going to have to incorporate silver. All right. You can look at copper, you can look at other metals, but they don't have the capabilities that silver provides. Even when silver was $13 an ounce, manufacturers, not just in the solar industry, were looking to thrift out of silver. Today, at $70 per ounce of silver, they're still looking to find suitable alternatives, but it's increasingly difficult to do so. Um, when you put out a big solar farm in various regions throughout the world, you're going to want a 25-year project. Okay. And then after 25 years, you can come in and swap out the solar cells. But I don't know. I don't know about copper. I don't know about some of these other metals. They may have a 5-year or 6-year lifespan, but silver goes the distance.
Right. I completely agree with your point. So there is also a reasonable argument that as electric vehicles become more smarter, they will need more silver per
Yeah.
unit, not less. Is that a fair characterization?
It really is. As the complexity of these vehicles increase and the size of these vehicles increase, more and more silver will be used. And it's not a silver electric battery. What it is the fact that there are more contacts that require silver throughout the vehicle. So you're looking at, in some cases, maybe an ounce of silver in these, or 50 grams of silver in some of these electric vehicles. And electric vehicle car sales are very strong. Um, in some countries, they eclipse the ICE, the internal combustion engine, a gas-based engine. Uh, if you go to buy a Toyota or a Honda today, they all major manufacturers provide an electric vehicle alternative, but Honda, they don't. I don't think they sell an all-gas vehicle, or Toyota. I think they're hybrid vehicles plus their electric fleet. So yeah, more and more silver will be used. We estimate today anywhere between 75, 80, 85 million ounces of silver are going into the total automotive industry.
It wasn't there before a few years, right?
Right. That's right.
Right. So now, Michael, sir, that now we have spoken about the solar and the electric vehicles on the demand side, but there is another layer building quietly in the background, which is artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
Now, as AI scales, we are seeing massive build outs in data centers, advanced chips, and power intensive digital infrastructure. Do you think AI could meaningfully and perhaps underappreciated driver of the silver demand?
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
yes. And is this one of those shifts that market hasn't fully connected yet?
They haven't really connected it yet. We wrote about it last year when we talked about silver, the future generation metal. We talked about solar, electric vehicles, and the final chapter was on AI data centers and on AI. Um, the energy requirements to power AI are going to require more and more silver. As more consumers adopt AI into their daily lives, whether it be at home or in the workforce, more and more silver will be required. So, absolutely, yes, the growth potential for silver's use in AI is amazing.
And do you think the scale that we saw into the solar panels, the kind of silver usage we saw into the photovoltaics sectors or cells, AI will be able to match that scale as well?
I think down the road it very well could. Absolutely. You know, in 2011 and 2012, we were barely even writing about solar energy.
Right.
You know, it was 2014, 2015 when we started to notice that 60, 70, 80 million ounces of silver a year were going into solar energy. And today, while I don't have an exact number, I've heard numbers of maybe 45 to 50 million ounces either today or down the road. I think the potential is very great for to match solar energy's demand for silver.
Right, sir. So now, sir, on the supply side, if you could help us understand how silver actually gets produced, because most people don't realize that silver isn't a primarily a silver mining story. It's
Mhm.
a byproduct story, right?
Yeah, so silver historically has been a byproduct metal. About 75% of newly mined silver comes from a non primary silver mine. So it comes to the ground or comes out of the ground from gold mining, lead and zinc mining, copper mining, and other metal mining activities. So silver is definitely a byproduct. Like I said, 75% of the metal coming to the earth is from other mining activities. So it's hard. Mining in general is very difficult business, but in terms of a primary silver mine, there's not a lot of them throughout the world. I mean, there are. There's no question about it. And we list the top 10, top 20 primary silver producers and the primary silver mines in the World Silver Survey.
So basically, as the demand is continuously growing, are we seeing any new silver mines come online? Is the pipeline of the future supply robust, or there are certain gaps which may concern us in the future?
Yeah, as I mentioned, there are zero significant new mining projects coming online. We're seeing Aya's project in Morocco that will be online this year. They're already starting to produce. We'll see, in most cases, existing mine sites through exploration increasing their silver supply throughout the year. You'll see it in Canada, some parts of Mexico, and further down the planet in South America. But you know, we need more silver to come to the earth, and we just can't find it.
Right. And so now what I am able to understand is there is more demand, but there is very limited primary supply for the silver. So, sir, do you think there is a credible scenario where market may face a sustained structural deficit, where demand consistently outpaces the supply, not for a quarter or a year, but for a decade or even more?
Yeah, I think we're witnessing that now. I mean, we're witnessing it for the last 6 years, and I think that will continue. With no big mining projects online or coming online, and demand continuing to grow, you're going to see the structural market deficit continue. No question about it.
Right, really interesting. So, sir, now from the seat at the Silver Institute, you are working with the different miners,
Mhm.
fabricators, investors, policymakers every day. Which side of silver's identity do you think is the most underappreciated right now?
I think people really don't or barely have an idea about how silver surrounds their daily life. So we're talking today. You're in India. I'm here in the United States. All made possible through technology and silver's role in technology. Anything that has an on or off switch probably contains silver. At least 95, 99%. There's a contact that's loaded with silver to make these applications work. It's the best conductor of electricity. It's a strong metal for the storage of energy, obviously, with solar panels. More people should realize that of all the metals in the world, silver is one that surrounds their daily life, in their automobiles, in their homes, their refrigerators, their washing machines, the light switch, the HVAC systems. Everything contains silver. So the more they start to realize that, I think the importance in their minds of silver will become greater.
Right, sir. So, Michael, sir, now when you look at the 10, 15 years forward, not basically the price, but at the strategic role of silver in the global economy, what do you see in the future?
We think greater awareness for silver. We think the demand is going to continue to grow. The green revolution is just a starting point for silver's growth capabilities. AI is not stopping today. It's going to continue to go forward. What that means globally is that more silver will be consumed down the road. Uh, so the story for silver is very, very bright, very positive, and we're looking forward to seeing more silver being used in various applications. And look, we put out a publication every other month, bi-monthly, or I should say every 2 months. It is called Silver News. And if you were just to look at that Silver News and look at the amount of new uses that are being developed for silver as we speak, I haven't even mentioned silver's use in medicine. Silver's use in operating rooms, on the instruments that are used to operate, catheters, bandages. Um, Silver is a natural antibacterial. More medical professionals are looking at silver as a way to get rid of bacteria, reduce harmful infections, because silver kills bacteria.
Right, sir. Now one last question for a serious but a long-term kind of investor, someone who thinks in decades, not quarters. How should they be thinking about silver as a part of their understanding of the world? Not what to do, but how to see it differently.
Well, they should understand that without silver, nothing's going to operate. Okay, and its importance to the world is paramount. Um, all precious metals have unique capabilities. If you look at gold, its primary use is in jewelry, and then as an investment, and a small 8 to 10% in industrial demand. Platinum, palladium, pretty much similar story with jewelry, but they also have more industrial uses than gold. Uh, Silver is a precious and an industrial metal. It's used more in industry. It's increasingly being used more as an investment. If you take India, for example, it was only a few years ago that they put exchange traded products online. And today, those investors that are looking at those instruments of investment for silver are growing daily. It's playing an important role in the investment market. Historically, it was mostly used as jewelry. It was worn by women as a store of wealth. It showed off their wealth, silver and gold. But today in India, you're seeing more and more people invest in silver, and even at these prices. So the story for silver is a good one. We think it's just going to continue as the years go on. And Silver Institute is happy to play a role in educating people about this complex yet so important metal in their daily lives.
Right, sir. I completely agree. Silver has always, evolved with the time and has been the metal of the future. I would say I would give that designation to the silver definitely. So, Michael, sir, this has been an incredibly insightful. But if I had to summarize this conversation in one line, silver is not just a metal. I would say it's a reflection of where the world is heading. It's quietly inside the technologies we depend on, the energy system we are building, and even the way we think about the value. And maybe that's why it's easy to overlook until it becomes impossible to ignore. So, Michael sir, thank you so much for joining UpperCrust and sharing this perspective. I completely appreciate the work you and Silver Institute has been doing for the years.
Thank you. Thank you. Will I see you next month at the India Silver Conference?
Yes, sir, definitely. I am a part of it. I'm visiting the Silver Conference next month.
Very good. So we'll see you in about a month, okay?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I greatly appreciate it.
I also appreciate you accepted the invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem at all. Thank you so much.